G'day and welcome to another massive edition of the Bendigo Bank MCDFNL Footy Show. My name's Yeendy. I'm joined by the great man, Mitch. Thanks for joining us again, mate.
Good to be back, Yeendy. Thanks for having me.
Now, we've certainly had a few good weeks across the competition, and before we start talking up all the action from this weekend, it's great work by the clubs from the senior footy and the A-grade netball from getting behind the Towards Zero campaign, mate. It's great to see the number zeros running around there on the captain's jerseys over the weekend, and obviously the girls wearing the socks too. A fantastic message put across to the community. Yeah,
and fantastic support by all 14 clubs that managed to get on board. So all the senior captains wearing zero over the weekend, and all the A-grade netballers wearing their socks. So no, it was great, and it's supporting a great message.
And thanks to all the clubs who were sent through their photos over the course of the weekend as well. Great for us to sort of really promote our league, getting right behind it. From my understanding, our region has embraced it extremely well, and the feedback from TAC from TAC has been really much appreciated for all the work that everyone out there has been doing at Clubland to make it a great, successful campaign.
Exactly right, and we look ahead to this week, and we've got Love the Game round, so another important message that we're driving this week. Obviously, gambling's playing an unfortunately big role in sport these days, and so to get the message out that it's more about the sport and the kids enjoying the game, another great message.
Absolutely, and that's where it's great for the league to really get involved, and for this key message as well. Obviously, the big talking points are using some examples where kids have been going to school and talking about the odds of a club winning a game. Well, it's getting back to taking their mind off that and focusing on the game at hand, and this is a great message, well supported I think by the Victorian government to really getting behind this, and this impacts not only the older generation but obviously the younger kids as well.
Yeah, and hopefully it's something that drives home to the kids, and they can just get back to enjoying their sport and having fun.
Absolutely. So remember, love the game, not the odds. As we talk up round 14, we've got just 3 weeks to go before we approach finals. So the first game we'll have a look at is a danger game for the Swans. They play host to Avoca. So Natte, well, they got back to some of that great form against Navarre last week, but as we highlighted earlier in the week, mate, Avoca have got a very tough draw and they want to play finals. While they're sitting there now, they've got to try and knock off one of these teams, and this could be the week.
Yeah, exactly right. So a tough game here for Avoca, with Natte probably expecting to get it done pretty easily, but yeah, as you said, Avoca need a big win here against the top side to stay in finals contention, but I just don't think they'll be strong enough here, but who knows.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that one, mate. I think the Swans, for them, it's about getting a big win. If they can get a big win here against Avoca, they're just getting some of that confidence back and showing that they are a fearful team this year. So we expect them to get the job done in a pretty good outing. And another big game that we're talking up is Royal Park taking on Campbells Creek. The Creekers, they're looking for back-to-back wins. Yeah, they could be on a bit of a winning streak here. It might be a tough ask against Royal Park, but hey, winning form's good form.
Yeah, word is here they're still celebrating, but
yep.
No, look, Royal Park, they really need a big percentage boost here, and that's probably what they'll get. But yeah, look, Campbells Creek full of confidence at the moment, so they might be pretty competitive and might not be as big a blowout as you'd expect.
Oh, you're spot on there, and I know regardless of what happens with the Avoca game, I know the Bulldogs will be cheering on Campbells Creek to sort of just lower it, because they're the next one in line that's going to be impacted by that. So yeah, Royal Park will have a solid win there. Dunolly head over or play host to Talbot. I think Talbot probably need a bit of a percentage booster here, because they've got Navarre breathing down their neck, and the way, depending on how results go, percentage could play into it.
Yeah, Talbot's kept going about their business in this one, I think. Unfortunately for Dunolly, not as competitive as they would have hoped last week.
Yep.
But fingers crossed they fight out the rest of the season, and it starts this week hopefully with a closer margin than what they've had in a lot of games.
Probably one of the games of the round, mate. We've got Trentham and Lexton, both sides sort of battling away in 6th and 7th, just one game separating the two. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, look, probably match of the round, I'd say, if not Carisbrook and Harcourt, of course, but this has a big effect on the makeup of the top 8. Trentham, they've been down at times throughout the year, and Lexton sometimes surprising us with really big wins, so bit of a toss of the coin at the moment, but I'm going with Trentham.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. I mean, we spoke about it with Grant when we were doing the mid-season reviews. This was an important time there for the Saints, where they had a 3-week or 2-week stretch, and then ultimately to the Rovers, were a bit of a stretch where they needed to get some quality wins on the board, and this is their big test. In all due respect to the Rovers, whose confidence has been dampened a little bit lately, but Lexton have been in some pretty good form, and I think Lexton, with their sort of form, this is going to go down to the wire.
It will. I think it'll be one of the closer games this week, but As I said, it does change the structure a little bit, so they'll both be trying very hard this week.
And if Trentham win, they'll actually be 2 games clear of the 7th place Lexton side, and really start to create that gap as well, which would be neutral. It'd be nice to see Lexton win just to make things very interesting in that point alone. But should be a good game. Get along down there and enjoy it. Maldon and Navarre. This is a big change, a danger game for the Grasshoppers, who face against the Bomber side that will be keen to sort of rattle a few cages and take down Navarre, who've lacked a little bit of confidence just a little bit lately.
Yeah, exactly right. Maldon will be competitive here. I expect Navarre will bounce back, but look, Navarre winning their last encounter by 7 or 8 goals, I don't think it'll be quite that far this time. I think it'll be very much more competitive, and look, it wouldn't surprise me if Maldon upset them, but I think Navarre will get it done. Yeah,
I was going to be bold and say, I think the Bombers might actually win this, but Navarre are most capable of going on and having a big win. They know what's at stake for them. There's a top 4 spot that is still there if they want it, and if results can go their way, so they'll go a long way to cementing that spot. Maryborough Rovers and Newstead. The Rovers just they mathematically can still make finals, mate, but this is the game they desperately need to win and win well.
Yeah, exactly right. They're still very much in the hunt. It's just a matter of getting those wins now, and this is a very important one that they need to get. So surely this week I think Rovers will bounce back, but they beat Newstead very easily in round 5, and I backed them in here, but I don't think Newstead will go down without a fight. Yeah,
you're spot on there, mate. And I guess the way the latter sort of positions sort of go, if Avoca get rolled and Royal Park go down, we're sort of unlikely, but the Rovers could launch back into the top 8, presuming that's the way the cards sort of fall. So while they're sort of going through a rough patch, mathematically they could be in the 8 after this weekend.
Exactly right, and if they're not, there's still another couple of rounds to go after that, so very much well and truly in the hunt. They just got to keep winning.
Yeah, well, they've got Navarre and Talbot on the stretch home, so that's they've got certainly a tough run. Yeah, and the final game I have a look at, mate, this is match of the round on paper, and I think all eyes will be on the visiting team just to see how well they'll go. It's Carisbrook and Harcourt. Lay it out to us, mate. How is this one going to unfold?
Yeah, it could be very, very interesting. It was actually a nightmare last time for Harcourt in round 4, losing by over 140 points back then. So
that shocked the competition, didn't it? With that result?
Absolutely, it did. But look, I think Harcourt have changed a little bit. But how much change throughout one season for one club? But who knows? It could very well be a grand final preview this game, and Harcourt could go a long way to beating them.
Yeah, you're spot on there, mate. I think all eyes will sort of be on Harcourt in terms of how they go. We saw Harcourt and Talbot, they've almost sort of been on par with each other this year. The results have reflected that. And Carisbrook actually beat Talbot by 80 points a couple of weeks ago. So this is a good chance to see just how competitive Harcourt are and where they are in relation to the other teams around them.
Yeah, and Harcourt in very good form at the moment, so it wouldn't surprise me at all. It should be a very close game, I think. Yeah, it should be an absolute ripper. Make sure you get down there and check that out. Thanks to our friends at the Bendigo Bank, and thanks to your good self, Mitchy, for jumping on board again this week. We look forward to catching up with you soon. Thanks, Yeendy. See you next week.